All right, let's talk some about this. We're going to spend a good part of the show on different aspects. Joining me right at the top, Steve Forbes, Forbes Media Chairman, Editor-in-Chief, and author of the great book Inflation, and the great Brian Kilmeade, co-host of Fox and Friends, host of One Nation, and the Brian Kilmeade Radio Show, and author of the very good book, The President and the Freedom Fighter. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Brian Kilmeade, just going to go to you. Tonally, this was a very odd speech. First of all, doing it on a YouTube video is very strange. But second of all, not mentioning any of his sort of would-be accomplishments, if I were he, and dwelling on attack things that he used in the campaign, you know, in the midterm campaign. So I didn't really understand this. Again, just the tone of the thing didn't make sense to me.
Well, you know, the Democratic Party, sadly, have been living off January 6th for a while. And in case you thought they were going to turn the page, don't watch the video. It's the first thing you see. Number two, as you see, they talked about looking back at how bad MAGA Republicans are, the administration you work for, rather than tell you what's ahead and changing the music to something optimistic. Do we have a rolling hill? Do you have some NFL inspirational music? You can, with the right editor and director, make an 8-year-old child look like Michael Jordan or Norman Vincent Peale of inspiration and optimism. But they chose not to.
Can I say that's a wonderful point? There was no optimism in that speech. That's a wonderful point. And secondly, no achievement, no future agenda. So I should have put it in my riff, where people just want optimism, Steve Forbes. You know, they want an economic agenda that's optimistic. They want an education agenda that's optimistic. They want a security agenda that's I think Brian is dead on right. That's going to plague him because people are so pessimistic today, according to the polls.
Yes, he's been in 4 years, and what has he delivered? More misery, foreign policy disasters. People have no faith in the future. This puts a burden on the Republicans, a positive burden if they'll just pick it up. And that is doing what Ronald Reagan did in the early 1980s. Tax cuts, deregulation, a strong defense in the name of freedom, unleashing the American people. John Kennedy did it in the early 1960s. And that's what the people are looking for. They want a future. There's a lot of energy in this country, ready to go. Entrepreneurs ready to roll, big things happening, positive health care, vaccines for cancer and the like, and people want this. They don't want this mired thing in the past, drawling music. Oh, blah, 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 blah. They want something positive. They want energy.
John Facenda? The NFL, Vince Lombardi. Get me going.
Yes, you're right. You're right about the optimism thing.
Right.
That gives the Republicans, if they can produce a future agenda, as Steve has suggested, that gives them a terrific opening, I think, in this whole election. Putting aside their own differences of opinion, what is Biden selling us? What is he telling us in this video? That's what I don't get. He's telling us everything has gone wrong.
Well, to the 10th power, remember with President Obama when his, by the way, President Obama, great speaker, great linguist, very good writer, very bright.
Bad politics.
Right, bad politics, great presence. Bill Clinton, great presence. Personability, George W. Bush, off the charts. You could show it. Roll up the sleeves, go meet with people. That's how you sell him. For President Biden, you know what he's saying? I'm not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not electable. He will destroy the country. I am the only one that can stop it. And for no other Democrat to step up and say, I could stop him too, and I'm 30 years younger, and I could keep the pace and answer your questions and have a press conference and sit down with your toughest journalist, and you'll be happier. I am shocked that no Democrat says, I could be better than 80-year-old Joe Biden.
Right.
They're having trouble up the stairs, trouble pulling off a fun trip to Ireland, refusing to do interviews. Where's the personal pride? And by the way, when you run for office, in theory, you do it for the country. It's service. Where's someone who says, my service to my country is to save us from a president that clearly has, this is more than he can do. And what about Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders, same age. Bernie Sanders probably has the pace to do it. He destroyed the country, but he destroyed it. But he destroyed to do it. He is doing what Barack Obama did. Barack Obama made Mitt Romney unelectable because he says he's the worst. He's a horrible person.
So what are you saying about what are you
He's
saying
trying to make
about
Trump
Joe Biden?
unelectable. That makes him electable.
Is he succeeding?
Well,
what do you think?
We don't know
yet.
yet.
Is he succeeding?
The answer is no, because we don't know who officially is going to be the Republican nominee. And again, This guy's had 4 years. And the reason why he goes into the kind of stuff he does is very simple. They don't want you to realize what the real agenda is. Socialism, control.
That's right. That's right.
Making you buy
Leveling
stuff
the mortgages?
you don't want.
He's right. I mean, telling people who have saved and have a good FICO score that they're going to be penalized with respect to
Taking away their air conditioners.
Taking away air
the
conditioners,
dishwasher.
shower heads.
I don't want to help Steve Forbes get a mortgage, all right? I have a great credit rating, Steve. We obviously know he doesn't. And I do not want to have to pay the price for that, Steve.
I mean, look, Republicans, what they need to do is just what you said earlier. Art Laffer's been saying this for months and months. They need a future economic growth agenda. And they have one. They have one. That's the point.
That way they
I don't
set
care
the
whether
agenda.
it's Trump or whether it's DeSantis. You can argue about electability until you're blue in the face.
Right.
But Joe Biden is not offering the American public what they want, which is prosperity, which is take-home pay going up, living standards. Living standards have gone down for 2 years plus under Biden. Well, hey, all the GOP has to do is say, here, less spending, less regulating, less taxing, less money printing.
And all for a higher purpose, as Ronald Reagan said, bringing out the genius of the American people. It makes this nation unique. And that way they set the agenda. So when the criticisms come, as they did against Ronald Reagan and other great presidents, they wash away because people say, oh, that's criticism. This guy's painting a good future picture. I want it. This is what America's all about.
Book burning, Brian Kilmeade? Book burning? Is that going to be an issue in this campaign?
Well, they said book banning.
Burning?
Yeah, what they're trying to say is for sixth graders, they probably shouldn't have human sexuality books when they have different books for different appropriate ages. We had that kid, 11 years old, read what was in his library in elementary school, and it was something that should have been in a Penthouse magazine. If you say banning books, guilty is charged. Appropriate books for the appropriate age is not a problem. Can I amend something you said?
Yes.
Before prosperity, opportunity for prosperity. No guaranteed outcomes. Set up a situation. Set up a situation where you can have success.
Ryan, we are all equal at the starting line and the finish line in Biden world. We're all equal. There's no merit. It's all affirmative action.
And it crushes.
I'm kidding you here.
Yeah.
No, I get the sarcasm.
But I'm saying that's what he does it with a straight face. Diversity, equity, inclusion in everything. Everything.
And crushing the American spirit. If you have a knack for baseball, why shouldn't you be allowed to develop those talents? Everyone has something they're unique at, something they can do better than other things. Why can't you have the opportunity to realize that? And if you fail, you get back on your feet again in this country. Failure is not a stigma as it is in other societies. All the same means tyranny.
Right.
People don't want EVs. By golly, we're going to destroy the internal combustion engine. You're going to have EVs anyway.
Who voted on that?
That's tyranny.
The answer is nobody. Wait, who telling us who to love? What does that mean?
I don't even know what he's referring to.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I assume it's some allusion to transgenderism, which has nothing to do with anything. No person that I know, independent, undecided, or Republican, is in anyone's bedroom. There was a time when same-sex marriage and marriage between a man and a woman was something that Joe Biden was saying on Meet the Press to Tim Russert. He doesn't say that anymore. This is a non-issue. That's why I think what the RNC chair, Ronna McDaniel, put out was so important, is that she put out an immediate fact checker. There's like 6 or 7 things in there, totally unnecessary and inaccurate. Also, they say the tax cuts that you helped put together are for the rich. That's lazy. That doesn't have anything to do with it.
For the umpteenth time,
it's amazing.
The statistics show that the biggest winners were the middle and lower middle income people.
And that's what President Trump said. We don't need a tax cut for the rich, but the 1% off the top bracket, it was for corporate rates to be more competitive. We've been over that.
So Biden's just, there he goes again, all right? He's lying again. I mean, what kind of?
But the bigger story, I think, is why the timing
is this? What kind of video? It's not even a speech, for God's sake. There's no vision.
He never said re-elect me.
And that's why.
By the way, that's a good point.
He just said, let me finish the job. Okay, you got 2 more years. Hey, you got it. See you at the inauguration.
I love that.
Yeah.
By the way, Kamala Harris was prominently featured in this.
But not saying anything.
Well, no. But I'm just,
take the risk.
I thought he was going to leave her in the basement. Not a chance. But,
no, well, that's why they're both going to be in the basement. He's not going to be the Democratic nominee. Capacity, what they're finding about his family and the money. That's going to be out there.
He never mentioned the family corruption, did he? I didn't hear that part.
And lousy economy.
He's got some LLC problems, apparently. We're going to talk about that later in the show.
Right.
People know the country's not going in the right direction. And so all he can do is try to come up with a boogeyman to scare people. And that's not going to work. Carter tried it against Reagan in 1980. Reagan had the vision. Carter didn't. Guess what happened?
I don't know.
44 out of 50 states.
Tell him who to love. Brian, I love you.
Right, and no one told you to say that.
Straight up, no one.
Right, and you do have an IFB, but that came from your heart.
Off the top, it did come from my heart.
It came from your heart.
Exactly right.
I'm telling you.
No one said that. Now, Akilah doesn't like any of this. She wants us out of here.
Yeah, she rapped you about 2 minutes ago.
Steve Forbes.
Good to have your name on the title.
Ryan,
if you have a name on the show, you can do whatever you want.
Respect.
But it's freedom.
I get
freedom.
no respect at all. By the way, you can catch Brian on One Nation Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox News.